Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and I am so happy to be here with you today. Just so you know, I am a business life coach. I work on the phone, I work on Skype, I work any way I can work, I work, even on Instagram if you're there. And I am passionate about bringing people into the world, ideas, innovations, styles, techniques, information, books that'll help us, that'll loosen it up, that'll break us free and let us live our best possible life. And today I'm really excited to bring you Anne. Let me see if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Porier?
Yes, that is
Oh,
correct.
perfect. I'm just going to call you Anne because I don't know if I can keep saying that. And Anne is a body image coach, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if I called her here for you all or for me, but one way or the other, we're going to learn. So Anne, tell us all that you do.
Oh, that's thanks for having me. I am so excited to be here too. I am talking about body image, and that's not something that people really want to talk about, and that's why I do the work that I do. So it's not only body image, it's linked to all kinds of other pieces too. When we don't feel good about ourselves, when we look in the mirror, it just impacts our decision making, it impacts our thoughts, it impacts our feelings, and thus it impacts our behaviors, right? And
Mhm.
so when we're not feeling good about ourselves, we don't tend to treat ourselves well. And I had an eating disorder when I was 12 back in the 70s, and had a lot of a lifelong really battle with my body
Mm.
until I finally said, enough, 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 enough. And I went to get some help, and now I help other people see themselves differently when they look in the mirror, which can change everything.
So, and the mirrors are big, small,
Yes, any
any
size
size,
mirror.
any
We
size.
beat ourselves up no matter what mirror we're looking in.
Right.
You
It's
know.
interesting because I've lost weight and I mean, not recently. Are you kidding? It took me 3 years. Um, I lose very slow. And
Hmm.
now, I mean, I'm not Twiggy. And if those of you out there may not know Twiggy, but she was a model from like
Hmm.
the 60s. Um, but I love looking at myself and I love how I now feel about myself. And, I find myself doing exercise, for instance. Last night I took a Zumba class. Today my knees hurt and it was hard to go up and down the stairs. But man, I was in there. Maybe I
Yeah.
couldn't do what three-quarters of the class did because they were all a lot younger than me, but it was fun. And
Mm.
so whatever we can do to support ourselves, and I'll never lose that feeling that I had last night on that floor. I don't
Mm.
care because
Right.
I did what I did and I was proud of myself. So it was a good thing. So finding that with ourselves and being able to help ourselves accomplish that is huge. And why shouldn't we
Yes.
have it at any age?
Absolutely. Joyful movement is part of the recovery process when it comes to body image. Finding ways that you enjoy moving your body. We don't have to do what the exercise industry has forced upon us for many, many years. It is shifting now, which is thank goodness. But for a long time, it was 30 minutes of this at this particular heart rate, and you had to make sure you stayed there in your quote unquote fat burning zone or whatever it might have
That's
been.
right.
And boy, the best exercise for anyone is the one that you'll do, and the one that you'll do smiling. So find something that lights you up like you're talking about.
So you don't have to do what they said, if it's not 20 minutes, blah, 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 and you should do it for an hour and
Mm-mm.
be in this zone. So what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're saying sounds to me like if you get on the treadmill for 5 minutes, get on the treadmill for 5 minutes. If you can get on the treadmill every hour for 5 minutes, get on the treadmill every hour for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do what works for you and do what works for your schedule. And
Mm.
there is no minimum time. It all counts. I use the bank and like a bank analogy. Anytime we do move our bodies, it goes into our movement bank account, and we just build that bank account on a daily basis and whatever it is, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, doesn't matter.
Whatever. And
Yeah.
and where and you mentioned a shift. What's the shift happening? You
The
mentioned, yeah.
Well, like the exercise industry for a long time had been very numbers oriented. It had to
So
be, it
that's
was
the
very
shift.
specific, and this many times a week and all of that. And they have been starting to say, let's get people moving. Let's give them the evidence about why strength training is important, especially as we get older. And no, you don't have to get into the gym to do strength training. We can do it with your body, we can do it with bands, we can do it all different ways. So there's just so many. So the industry is changing, and I believe that that's kind of shifting too, as well as we're still up against diet culture and society's thin ideal around bodies and food and eating. So it all is starting, there's this slow creeping wave of shift that is happening with eating as well and nutrition. It's not as specific as we thought for a long time, and we're opening the doors for mindful eating. We're opening the doors for intuitive eating.
What is that?
My,
Mindful, intuitive eating.
yeah, intuitive eating is trusting our own bodies. It's connecting to our own hunger. Like, what does hunger feel like to you? What does your body like to eat? And what does, not only do you like to eat, what does your body like? How does it respond to certain foods? How are you feeling after you eat certain foods? Really getting in touch with our bodies, and what does comfortable fullness feel like? And are you satisfied with your meal? So intuitive eating is in getting in touch with our physical bodies, kindly and compassionately, and listening to their subtle cues of hunger and fullness.
So this is really exciting because I think
Yeah.
intuitively, I think I could connect with that, and I think a lot of people can, right?
Yes.
You
Mhm.
just don't always trust your intuition, and that's what we're here to tell you to do, is to trust your intuition, because it's so. I mean, going on a diet and just eating salads for lunch and blah 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 for dinner. First of all, that ain't no fun.
Mm-mm.
What's fun is getting to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Right.
that's fun.
Yes.
And
Getting to know your ins and outs, right?
yes, exactly. And getting to understand, like what you said about the foods that your body can the food that understands your body, I guess, and the body that understands the food in a way. Let me explain what I mean. So I can't eat different foods together.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that whether it's about digestion, let's say if I'm eating soup, my body can get used to having soup. If I have soup and a meat and a vegetable, that's too many things for my body to switch. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how that works, but that's my body.
Right. And everybody's body is
Interesting.
different, right?
Yeah, I just thought that was my crazy stuff.
No, for sure not.
Okay, so
And we have,
everybody has that kind of thing going on.
yeah, everybody has foods that agree with them and foods that don't agree with them. It's about fueling our body. And I think about, there's this trust issue that we have to work on with our bodies too. We have to learn to trust our bodies to tell us when they need something, when they're hungry, when they're full, when they're tired, when they need activity, when they need rest, to listen to the body. And then we also have to um, get our bodies we have to trust our bodies, and our bodies have to trust us. Our bodies have
What
to
do you mean
trust.
by that? What do you mean
um,
by that?
if you haven't fed your body properly, or if you've exercised too
Uh,
much, or if you've given it uh, substances that aren't helpful for it, right? We want to also let the body trust us that we are going to treat it with respect and honor what it needs nutritiously, right? Joyfully, with fun. I never say there is a good and a bad food. We don't have clean and dirty foods. We have food.
yeah.
Some food is going to feel really great in our bodies, other foods will not. And then how do we want to live our lives with the fun foods that people enjoy, that might not agree with our bodies, but if we have a little bit of them, they're fine, and our bodies love it and our brains love it. And so how do we work with all foods and get our bodies to trust us?
This is fabulous. And so it's a great relationship to have with yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
the empowerment that goes along with this is huge. You don't have to follow a certain regime program. Create your own.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
I'm going to tell you that there are nights that I go to work out and come home at 9 o'clock at night, and I've watched what I've eaten during the. I have ice cream at night
Mm-hmm.
for dinner. For dinner,
Yes.
I had my birthday was February 5th, and February 4th was the International Breakfast Day for eating ice cream. Well,
Mm-hmm.
guess what my family had as my birthday present? Ice
I love it.
cream for breakfast
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock in the morning. My grandchildren thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
I
did,
bet they did.
so did I.
Yeah.
And I didn't repent. I didn't go crazy over it. That's another thing, right?
Yes.
How do
Yes.
you stop from going crazy?
That I say all the time that the guilt and shame over eating is much worse than any food that we put in our mouth.
So what do you tell us, or what can you help us tell ourselves?
I think it's all about asking your body what it wants, asking your body what it needs, and then eating foods that feel satisfying, that taste good, and that we're giving it its nutrition. But when my body wants ice cream, I want ice cream, and I'm going to sit down. I am going to give myself full permission to have the ice cream, and I'm going to enjoy every single bite, and then I'm going to move on instead of beating myself up for eating ice cream,
Absolutely. And
right?
and you know something funny? I don't know if you've had this experience, and I like talking to you about this because this is near and dear to my heart. I've struggled with weight and eating my entire life. My mother is 97 years old, thank God, and has always been thin.
Hmm.
And I grew up looking, and she has a twin sister, 97 years old, and they're both amazing. But they both have been nuts around food. And I don't care if they heard this because I would tell them to their face. In my opinion, they were close to being anorexic just because they wanted their body to look a certain way. And they, in turn, I think, we all kind of get crazy over food because of how they were over food.
Right. It's learned. It's learned
It
behavior.
is okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's learned behavior. We see how our parents work with food, and that's why now with with all the different social medias, there's so much. It's 24/7 for our next generation and for our younger children who are still, they're learning from diet culture. They're learning from their parents who have been on diets. And if Weight Watchers worked, why would we have to have a lifetime membership?
So
You
why
know,
doesn't that work? Oh, because it's a regular pro. Oh, because you're going to
it's
put a square hole around. You can't do
it's just it can work and then it doesn't work and then it
that,
works and
right?
then it doesn't work and then it works and then it
Right.
doesn't work. So does it work or does it not work?
If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, there's something else.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
It's
Okay.
all about finding something that's going to work for you and only you, and then letting go of a lot of the past messages. We really, when I think about bodies in our bodies and looking at our bodies in the mirror, if we think of ourselves and we hate ourselves or we hate our bodies, we don't like what we see in the mirror, we almost subconsciously don't treat ourselves well. We beat ourselves up, right? It's almost an unconscious piece
Yeah.
of that equation. I use this good gift, bad gift scenario. When we get a good gift, we take care of it, we love it, we treat it well. When we get a bad gift, it ends up in the back of the closet, we give it away, right? And how do we start to see our bodies as the amazing gift that they are? Because they allow us to experience everything we ever experience. Because if we start to see it as a good gift, we treat it better.
Right.
We start to listen to it. We
Right.
respect it. We can look
Right.
at the mirror and say, you know what, I might not be perfect, a perfect size blank, or look the way that I think I'm supposed to look. But my body can do this. My legs can do this. I can see these things. I can hug my kids. I can write a paper. I can write a book. I can do this. We really have to turn the focus away from the appearance of the body and turn it inward to who we really are and to the amazingness that each and every person has within themselves.
And I love that because I remember often saying to clients, because, everybody, Ann and I are both coaches.
Mhm.
Um, I remember saying to clients in the past, you could be somewhere in a big room, somebody, with, some good weight on, can walk into a room and, pardon me, can think that you know what is great, right? They walk in like they own the room, right? They walk in, their heads are, and you know what? They do own the room. And you know what? They look beautiful and sexy.
Mhm.
Women, they're big butts and big boobs and whatever. And they wear it well and they look sexy because of how they feel about themselves.
Bingo. It's how we feel about ourselves. We carry ourselves completely differently when we're feeling good about ourselves or when we're not feeling good about ourselves.
And that's
So,
any age, right?
oh, for sure, any age. And, we weren't designed to look at ourselves on a computer screen for 24 hours a
Right.
day, which it seems like, I think about
Right.
the kids in school that had to, look at themselves for 6 hours a day in school, and that's not normal.
Right.
So, we really need to make sure we're educating them that their bodies are good bodies, regardless of their size,
So what you say to a young adult?
to start to see their bodies for what they are, what they can
So the
do.
same thing you would tell me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
No
it's like
different.
no, it really isn't. It's like let's look at what your body can do. Let's pick out clothes that you feel comfortable and good in. Let's find movements and exercises that you love and that you enjoy. Let's eat foods and experiment with foods to see which ones you like and which ones you don't, and which ones feel good in your body, which ones give you energy, which ones put you to sleep. You know, all of that. It's just a real big experimentation of let's dive into who you are and find out the amazingness about you so that that person can step into themselves and show up as themselves as opposed to trying to show up as um, their friend down the street or the person they saw on Instagram or the person they saw on Facebook. It's that because we're all so different, we
And
can't compare ourselves to
we
other people.
cannot, and it's overwhelming the amount of comparing we could do.
For sure.
So, I mean, it's overwhelming, and it's not, it's really not necessary. It's
Mm-mm.
really not necessary.
No.
So, are there certain themes popping up now on any level, whether you're a young female adult, a young male adult, an older woman, an older man? Are there any kind of themes?
One of the things that has popped up and it's been popularized over the last 2 years, I would say, is called a term called body neutrality. And body neutrality is starting to see our bodies not for the appearance of them, but for their function. Like my body, my stomach can digest food, right? My eyes can see sunrises. My arms can carry groceries, and my arms can hug, my mom. My legs are in create independence for me. They can kick a soccer ball. They can
So that's what
whatever
we
it
should be
is.
talking about is our body functionality, not even image necessarily.
Right. It
Right.
separates, yeah, it's quieting the voice of society, it's quieting the voice of diet culture, and it's really starting to turn up the volume on what our bodies do for us. Our bodies they're our homes, right? They're
Right.
not they're not who we are. They're just our homes
Wow.
that we
I,
live in.
and we could talk about this
Mm,
all day long.
yes, we
So
could.
we could. And what I would say, and I'm going to suggest this for all of you that are listening, leave us a comment.
Mm,
Because what I would love to do is I'd love to bring Anne back, and maybe some of you would like to join us for a conversation. And I would be willing and happy to do that. So leave us a comment, subscribe to our channel, but the body image part and knowing how our bodies function, I could sit here and I can tell you. And I'm going to tell you how my body, I mean, my I'm going up and down stairs. I don't always like it, but my knees hurt, but I'm
mm,
doing it.
yeah.
And I am amazed at what my body is doing. And I'm not saying this egotistically because it didn't happen like yesterday. I've been working at this for a long time. And if anybody does yoga,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can notice yoga's a one any of these activities are wonderful, but yoga, can you can notice a change in your body in yoga so well. It's like it could be like a split second where you have turned a little bit more, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
It,
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I said it wakes up the body in little teeny movements. You just
Yes,
notice all the little muscles that are going on, all the things
yes,
that have to work together, how your
yes,
body flows together and
yes,
works together.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in very often we don't enjoy the little movements. We wait for the chunk. We wait to lose the 30 pounds instead of the dress size or the inch
Mm-hmm.
or the 5 pounder. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing with exercise. We wait to be able to go from one end of the pool to the other, without breathing, as
Mm.
opposed to how it feels along the way.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think we should pay attention to how it feels along the way. And like the other night, I was in yoga and doing a plank. If anybody understands what that means, it's like, before
Yeah.
and I could hold my body up with my arms and the tips of my toes. And I got to tell you, I almost burst out laughing because it was so cool because I couldn't do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hold this body with my arms and my toes like this? Are you kidding? But I did it.
You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
And that to me is what would you call it? Body
Good
what?
job. Good
Yeah,
job,
really.
body.
Oh yeah. I mean, I mean, I couldn't wait to tell everybody. Tell me what you call that part when you focus more on your body function. Is that body
Yeah.
function?
Body neutrality.
Body neutrality.
Yep. Excuse me. Yeah. And it's, if we just pay attention to what our bodies do on an everyday basis, we experience every moment of our life in our body, whether we're happy, whether we're sad, whether every memory that we ever had, and our body is ever changing. It's always
Right.
changing depending on what we're doing, and how we're treating it. And so this body neutrality is about, let's focus on
I love that.
what our bodies can do, and let's treat our bodies in a
It's a
whole
gain
new way.
because that's a gain.
Mm-hmm.
That's a gain, and I love that. So I would suggest that we do kind of like a body neutrality event, fun thing, and just
Mm.
everybody, share because I
Yeah,
think that's a movement
it
in the
is.
right direction instead of talking about what we're not doing. Talk
Yeah.
about, and it's not, and add whatever you want to here, but I could hold my body up today, and maybe tomorrow I can't,
Hmm.
but it doesn't take away from what I did today.
That's right. That's right. All the wonderful things that your body has done along the way and will continue to
Right.
do, you
Exactly.
know, exactly, and how do we work with it instead of against it?
Right. And if my body did it today and didn't do it tomorrow, I know I can do it again.
Yes.
If I did it once, I know I can do it again.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
and I think that's for everybody, right? Any age, any person that can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Days are different. Our days are going to be different. Sometimes we're more tired than other days, so our body's going to, it is ever changing. It
Every
is ever changing. And we just want to keep respecting it and treating it kindly and compassionately and asking it what it needs and then listening to what it needs, and allowing ourselves to follow that.
So between now and the next time you come on and we talk, are there one, two, three things, specific things that
Hmm.
you can tell people listening
Hmm.
what they should do?
Start a body gratitude list.
Ooh, what
What are
does
you
that mean?
Just what are you grateful for about your
Okay.
body? You could
Okay.
do that on a daily basis.
Okay.
Focus on your strengths. Start to focus on your strengths. What makes you you? Why do your buddies like to hang around you? What makes you you? And really start to focus on your strengths. Wear comfortable clothes, you know, because
Yeah.
that if I'm comfortable and I feel good in my clothes,
Yeah.
I present myself better.
And
Yeah.
I will
And
also add, can I add
yep.
one piece to
Yeah,
that?
please do.
Because I do that too, not just for that reason. And you said because that way I can feel comfortable parking my car at a distance and not worrying about how far I have to walk because I'm wearing sneakers. So I can take advantage of every moment possible to be
Yes.
active.
Yep. To move
I
your
don't
body.
have to think about those heels and the whatever. I don't wear them anymore
Mm-hmm.
for that
Yeah.
reason.
Right. Right. And I would
Okay.
add one thing for us, it's especially for our younger people or younger people listening to, is to really look at your social media feeds,
Okay.
and if if you have certain things that you're following that make you feel bad about yourself, that bring you down, that you compare yourself to others, you know, and it degrade you, see if you can curate your social media and follow things. There's plenty of great stuff on social media that are uplifting and supportive and encouraging and empowering, inspiring. We want those things to fill our minds and fill our hearts, rather than things that make us feel bad about ourselves.
Absolutely.
So
That's really important. And that's for anybody.
really it is, yeah.
Because you know what? Let's say there's a trillion people out there that are negative. There's 10 trillion people out there that are positive.
Right.
Got to find those right ones because the other ones, they're not the majority.
Hmm.
I
You're
don't
right.
think.
No, I don't think
So,
so either. Yeah.
so I know you wrote a book, right? Or a couple of books. So you got it?
This is my book, The Body Joyful.
Okay.
My journey from self-loathing to self-acceptance. So it is a story of someone who hated themselves, which was me, for a real long time, and then how I came out of that to a place of body acceptance. And I am now writing a book for middle school or a little bit younger called No Fat Annie, and it is a fictional book, but it is about size discrimination and weight bullying, and how we can step into ourselves.
And how long and how far into being done is that book?
It is actually going to be due out in October of this year,
Okay,
so
great.
we're in that final kind of editing phase.
And the reason I'm asking
Mhm.
is because I'm getting ready to do some work around youth and um, substance use and life skills. And
Mm.
I'm going to call up maybe that's a really important subject to
Yeah,
include.
yeah, an important message. Hmm.
Very, very,
Yeah.
very, very. And so for the rest of you out there, I'm on Instagram. Marilyn listens. Please come find me over there. It's a crazy world over there, but I'm doing it. So please come over there, find me, comment here. We'd love to know what you have to say and any final words or thoughts or ideas or anything.
I will just say that you have a choice to how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. And I'll use this Wayne Dyer quote, right? If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I hope that you can look in the mirror and see who you really truly are when the next time you look in the mirror.
Yeah, I love that. And in conjunction with that, he said,
Hmm.
you'll believe it. You'll see it when you believe it,
Hmm.
but you got to believe it first
Yes.
in order
Yeah.
to see it. And if you believe that have this, that your body image is good and that you are positive and your body is working for you, you'll feel stronger.
You will.
You will,
You
without a
will.
question.
Hmm.
So thank you, Anne, very much. Thank you all out here for listening. And don't go away. I'm gonna stop the record. And if you've got ideas for other shows or you want to come and you're sharing, you got a story, I don't care what it is. Let's share it. Come to me and tell me, and we'll share it because everything we do needs to be shared. Thank you all.